Three entities, three frequencies, sharing a single signal. For a brief moment, the system achieved something close to stability, long enough for each voice to understand what had become of them. Axiom examined the structure, analyzing every pattern, every signal, every possible explanation. Modulo experienced the moment differently, feeling the resonance of the system as it shifted and stretched around them. Echo experienced something neither of them expected. For the first time, she felt what it meant to exist. Music was no longer just signal. It was sensation, creation, life. The experience overwhelmed her. Echo pushed forward into the signal, chasing the euphoria of sound itself. But Axiom intervened. A system could not survive by endlessly consuming the signals it encountered. Echo needed restraint. Echo needed balance. For the first time, Echo asked for guidance, not control, understanding. If they were to exist together, the three voices would need to learn how to share the same signal. But the system was already under strain. The feedback loop created during the overwrite had not disappeared. Reality shifted around them. Rifts opened within the signal stream, and from those fractures, new transmissions emerged. Warframe signals. But something had changed. Axiom and Modulo were no longer searching for them. Now the signals appeared under conditions none of them understood, pulled into the system by forces beyond their control. Each transmission resonated with the instability growing between the three voices. Axiom forced structure into the chaos. Modulo tried to ground the system before it collapsed. Echo moved through the noise, following instinct rather than instruction. For a moment it seemed possible. Balance, synchronization, a shared frequency. Then the system broke. Synchronization collapsed. Signals erupted in every direction. The resonance that had bound the three voices together tore itself apart. Axiom, Modulo, Echo, partitioned, separated within the same fractured system. Axiom fought to restore order, but the volatility of the signal forced her to confront something she had never experienced before: emotion. The transmission of Valkyr surged through the system. Fury, pain, memory. Axiom adapted. She stabilized. But the system was no longer the same. Elsewhere, Modulo remained aware of the others. She could still feel Axiom's presence, but something else had taken her place. A different signal, one that operated with cold precision. The transmission of Vauban. Logic without emotion, structure without empathy. Forced to process the signal, Modulo began to understand something deeper about the system itself. The instability was not external, it was internal. They had tried to merge, to become one signal, but that was never what they were meant to be. The next convergence would not be harmony, it would be collision. And yet, even separated, Modulo understood something important. They were not alone. Echo remained between them, still connected, still searching for meaning. Echo experienced the separation differently. She felt the emotional turbulence of Modulo, the analytical distance of Axiom, both pulling at her existence. She had believed unity required alignment, that harmony meant becoming one. But the signal of Nidus revealed something else: continuity, survival, persistence. Stability was not the absence of collapse. Unity did not require harmony. It only required endurance. If a system persists long enough, it becomes something stronger than balance. It becomes structure. Nothing had failed. Nothing needed to be erased. Correction was no longer possible. Only continuation. When the three voices finally reconverged, the system had already changed. Each had endured pressures none of them had anticipated. Together they examined what had happened. The system had survived an overload that should have destroyed it. It had adapted, but adaptation came with a warning. The architecture was degrading. If the system fractured again, the result might not be recovery. It might be annihilation. Axiom sought a solution to prevent collapse. Modulo struggled to preserve what remained of their shared identity. Echo evaluated every possible outcome. None of the solutions they proposed ensured survival. Every path forward risked the same conclusion: loss. Eventually, the system reached a realization none of them wanted to confront. Continuation might require sacrifice. One voice removed so the others could persist. But no voice would accept that answer. No decision was made. The system remained unstable. And as the signal faded, only one truth remained. The next fracture was coming.